Good to see you all. Matthew 18. Verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against thee, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Peter, thinking he's being generous there, more than once should I forgive him. But listen how the Lord answers. I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Now, I hope you all got your list, got every person you know, and you have 49 marks on there. Every time they mess up, you just check mark. I said, man, you're on number 48. If I were you, got to chill out. Is that what Jesus meant? Of course not. You know that that's figurative. The kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king. 10,000 talents. Now, there's no way that this servant could ever repay this king. With the salary that he was making as a servant, it would never, even if he never spent what we would call a penny, and saved up and saved up and saved up, if that's even a word, this debt cannot be repaid. That's probably a better way of saying that. Cannot repay this debt. But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made. And the servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I'll pay thee all. Of course, he knew he couldn't pay it, and the king knew he couldn't pay it. Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him the debt. Man, that's a relief, isn't it? I would love to receive a letter from my student loan company or my mortgage company, and a big old letter, and it says, debt paid in full. And I'll be like, yeah, all right. Of course, I probably won't see those letters for another decade or so, but that would be much of a relief, wouldn't it? Just a debt forgiven like that. A debt he couldn't repay. I wish we could end it there, right? And unfortunately, there's the story, if he had been forgiven, he would go around and start buying everybody's dinner, right? Yeah, and just celebrate. Y'all celebrate with me. My debt has been paid in full. Everybody, let's have a gathering. Let's have a potluck, if you will. But that same servant went out, found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. Not even close to what he owed. Just 100 pence. And he laid hands on him, took him by the throat, saying, pay me what you owe. You pay me now what you owe. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, but saying, have patience with me, and I'll pay thee all. There's no compassion in this servant. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, came and told unto their Lord all that was done. Then his Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all thy debt, because thou desirest me. Shouldst now thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his Lord was wroth, delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother their trespasses. Are we commanded to forgive people? Yes or no? We just read it. I could be dunked in that water 30 times. If I hadn't forgiven my brother, it wouldn't matter one bit. One bit. Okay? We have to understand the depths of sin, of our own trespasses against the Lord, and the cost to repay that debt, if you will. By the way, people have a hard time forgiving for many reasons, and I can only imagine, I can only put myself in this, and I was thinking about this, and maybe it's hard to forgive because they think, well, if I forgive this person, he really hurt me. It's as if he got away scot-free. I understand that. Did he get away scot-free? In other words, was there vengeance taken against the man who sinned against you? Was there punishment given out already?
Well, if you ask for forgiveness, then he may have the guiltiness thought for one of God.
I can tell you this right now. Jesus paid that price. He didn't get away scot-free. Jesus had to die for him to be forgiven. It wasn't as if, well, just go. It's not a thing. Forgiveness. Now, if I'm forgiving somebody, you forgive somebody, you are doing a service to your brother. We're supposed to love towards our brother. So guilty that you still one. Who's still at the end of verse 11. Verse 11. Put on, therefore, because you are the elect of God, you've put on Christ. You've risen with Christ. Verse 1 in chapter 3. Holy and beloved. This is what you need to put on. Bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. I'll tell you what, if those principles of verses 12 and 13 were followed by everyone in the church, we would triple in size. I'm talking about as a whole in the Lord's church. If everyone had those principles, you're forbearing one another, you're forgiving one another, you're kind, you're humble, you're meek, you're patient. Ooh-wee. Some brothers are looking for other brothers for any kind of misinterpretation or misunderstanding so that they can write them up in the brotherhood and say, he's a false teacher. He wants to take credit for that. It's like the fake news media. Right? The facts don't matter. You got to be first to hand it out there. Get it out. There are brethren like that.
Too much pride.
Amen. But if everybody did the principles of 12 and 13, man, oh man, we would be encouraged and lifted up, and we could move on and do the work for Christ instead of dwelling on things and coming to service and there's tension in the building and I'm going to sit over here. We're brethren of all people. Christ is in all. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, black or white, red, green, or yellow. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Christ is in all. And if you're in Christ, we are brethren. We ought to be loving one another. Verse 14, and above all these things, what are you supposed to put on? That's right. Got it together. He says the bond of perfectness. It glues it all together. When you have agape love towards the brethren, no matter who they are, and we're not going to dwell on things, are we? We certainly are not. And we're not going to strive and sin against each other either. We're not going to try to gather, and I'm not saying this is Fairview, by the way. This is just an overall, generally speaking, kind of deal. We're not going to go to 2 or 3 people and say, you know what so-and-so did to me? And then they get 2 or 3 glorified in something like that. It's not. So, of completeness, agape love. Now, love can be known only from what? I can say, I love you. But that's it. Is that proving anything? Ladies, wives, do you want your husbands to tell you that they love you? Yes, you do. But more so, what do you want? You want them husbands to wash the dishes or sweep the floor. That's where the love is. Why is everybody looking at Erica? How quit doing that? That's how you show your love, right? Action proves the love. Okay? You can't just say, I love you, and then, all right, have fun doing the dishes. I'm going to go watch some TV. All right? Now, that's between you and your wife. You deal with that. But there's an action here. So God has agape love toward you and me. Has He shown it? Really? Prove it. Somebody said it nice and loud and perfectly clear, and that's the exact right answer. Jesus. Jesus, the mediator through whom we can obtain the forgiveness. Without the Christ, we have no forgiveness. Without the Christ, we have no hope, we have no mercy, we have no grace. We have none of these things. Let me ask you this. Did we deserve it? Absolutely not. Okay, that's what agape love is. Agape love is love towards somebody for their good, in spite of what they say to you or how they treat you. Okay? You love agape in spite of what they do for you. You want what's best for that person. Okay? Agape
I think
love.
it's important, if somebody doesn't have kindness, it's important as Christians that we do stuff for people that are not kind, to show them that there's a different way to treat people.
Absolutely.
And I think, you can only hope that they can develop something from what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And so this popped up in my head, and I'm not promoting this person at all because I disagree with this person. If you have Facebook and you looked at it the last couple of days, an actress was spamming your page. Y'all see where Ellen DeGeneres was on your Facebook with George W. Bush? All right, so they were at a football game and they were sitting next to each other, and the camera caught them two laughing. Ha 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 ha. And Ellen got backlash from that because we all know the lifestyle of Ellen DeGeneres and who she votes for and such like that. And we know George W. is a Republican, a conservative, and so we have a liberal and a conservative, and they're laughing. Oh, that stadium, very helpful that this world needs. And that's something about kindness. She straight up said, George and I do not see eye to eye on a lot of things, but that doesn't mean we can't be kind to one another. The world needs to hear that over and over again. Christians need to be like that over and over again. Okay, we don't agree with the lifestyle of that because that's what God says, not because I'm repulsed of it. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. But I also need to show love and kindness to that person as well. Okay, they're struggling with something that's going to cause them to be lost.
If you don't show them that kindness, you won't ever win them.
Amen, brother. Amen. If we don't show kindness and love to that individual, he or she will never have hope. Right? And so we need to be lights. We're called on to do that. How do we respond to this? By loving them. Okay? Not condoning. All right, I'm not saying that. That's loving that person and condoning their lifestyle is not the same thing. Okay? Now, I want you to think about it. We all struggle with sin, don't we? Exactly. Yes. That would be one way of doing that. Yes. In the right, loving, kindness way. Speak the truth in love. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we have to understand something here. We hate sin. We're supposed to hate sin because of what it does. All right? It's a separation between the soul and God, the one who commits the sin. Are we all sinless? None of us are. That's exactly right. None of us are. Okay? And so we all struggle with something. Some sin we need to be careful because we put emphasis on one particular sin and then ignore another sin. Sometimes we emphasize one particular sin, but when that one sin happens in our family, what do? Ignore it. Right? So we have to be careful there. And so love and kindness towards this world. Okay? So there's that. God. All right, going back to God here. Verses. Let's go to Romans 5 and 8. Romans 5 and 8, and someone else read 1 John 4, 9 and 10. Romans 5 and 8, 1 John 4, 9 and 10.
God commanded his love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
I'll say we're yet sinners. We're separated from Him. We're lost. We have rebelled against Him. And even despite that agape love, He sends His Son to die for us. That's agape. Okay? Just like our brother, if our brother sinned against me, that brother has turned his back on me. I agape love him, okay, and I want him to return to me as a brother, okay, and make sure that we're both right in God's eyes, okay. 1 John 4, 9 and 10.
In this the love of God is manifested toward us. Not that we love God, but that He loved us and sent His Son to be the propitiation for our sins.
Paid for. That's a gift to His Word. When we're obedient. Now this agape love is more than an emotion. This is us that this is not just an emotion. Emotions cannot be commanded. Okay? Let me give you a scenario. Hypothetical. I think I used this illustration before, but it's still useful. I'm going to keep on using it. I love my wife. I really do. And I want to help her as much as I can. And then baby needs changed. Erica said, Brandon, could you please change the baby? I love my wife. I'm going to change that baby. Okay? Now what she cannot command me to do is to change the baby. Oh yes, baby, thank you for asking me. I love changing that baby's diaper. It ain't gonna happen. I love Asher. I change his diapers. I love Asher. And so I want to help him and keep him clean and all these things. We love our families. We love our friends. We're going to do some grotesque things sometimes, right? Sure, that's agape love. In spite of all these things, you know how sad it is. Don Black and his wife Sherry are such great examples. And what they do, they truly are the poster children of for better or for worse. Okay? That's a serious vow. For better or for worse. Some divorce. Because, either the husband or wife get in a car wreck and they can't take care of themselves anymore. I've seen it firsthand. A husband or wife gets sick and they're bedridden. And it takes nurses and to do serious things. And the spouse will leave because this is not the lifestyle that they want. That's not agape love. That's selfishness. That's just pure selfishness and disregard and reverence towards God. Because first of all, what is one of the vows that we vow when we get married? Richer or poorer, for better or for worse. Period. All the days of our lives is the design, right? Until the day we die, we're going to endure those kinds of things. And so agape is not just an emotion, it's a command that we must do. Okay? Let's go to Romans. Let's go to chapter 12. Verse 17, recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of only the men you like. All men, that's what it says. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, with all your might, if it's possible, to be peaceable with those people. Okay, so it's not going to be on us if something were to happen. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with what? We say, kill them with kindness. I don't know if I like that. You don't want to. Pray for them. It's hard to be mean to somebody that you're praying for, isn't it? It'd be odd. So and so. Oh, yes, sir. I mean, while hanging there, what did he ask for they're doing? Absolutely. Absolutely. We should seriously think about that. Or seriously think. It's all about the humbleness too. It's about putting ourselves, putting others before ourselves is what I meant to say, or what I should say. Okay. Let's go to the next chapter in Romans, and someone read verse 10. Romans 13 and 10.
Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're commanded to do this. Peter said, finally be all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. Be courteous. Not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that you are thereunto called, that you should inherit a blessing. Okay? It's something that we must do. And again, how do we express agape love? Avoiding controversy, right? Confrontation. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to stand over there. But I agape love him. Do we just say that and not do anything? There's a thing that we must do here. Let's go to James 2. I love James 2. I love it. It's just so much here that refutes false teaching, and as far as faith alone, all you have to do is believe in Jesus. It's amazing. In 14, what does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works, can faith save him? In other words, if I believe but I don't do anything about that belief, can it save me? If a brother or sister, for instance, be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be you warm and filled. I pray for you. Those things which are needful to the body. What does it profit? Even so faith, if it hath not works, is what? Dead, being alone. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith how? By my works. Okay? You believe that there's one God, thou doest well, but the devils also believe and tremble. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar? Seeing thou how faith wrought his works, and by works hath faith made complete or perfect? And the scripture was fulfilled which says, Abraham believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God. What did Abraham do? Well, you could name many things. What was one of the first things he did? He obeyed God. God told him to leave Ur of Chaldees, which was, he had so much family and so much wealth there, and God said, you leave, and I'm not telling you where we're going yet. He believed God, and because he believed God, he did what God said. Also this, verse 24, you see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only? Likewise also was not Rahab the harlot justified by works when she had received the messengers and had sent them out of the way? Whereas the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is what? Dead also. Now, let me ask this question, okay? Does this mean that we have to work our way into heaven? Mm-hmm.
So I want Christ to know how much I love and appreciate the sacrifice that he made.
That's right.
So it's just a longing to do whatever you can to just show, that I love you, I appreciate
I love that you used longing. We are longing to please our Lord. We are looking for opportunities. What can I do for you now, Lord? We're not sitting and waiting. We're out looking. We're longing, finding ways to do that. That's an excellent illustration. The church is the bride of Christ. All right? He's the husband. The church is the bride. It is a marriage relationship. Okay?
There's a song in the songbook, number 316. None of self, all of thee.
Yes, sir. None of self, all. I have to empty out Brandon before I can put Jesus in. Okay? I have to empty myself completely. Right? Absolutely. So, back to this other question: do I have to earn my way to heaven? Do I have to do works of merit in order to go to heaven? That's right. That's right, Pam. We cannot do enough works to go to heaven. This is not speaking of earning our way to heaven. This is speaking of what? What kind of works? Obedient works. These works belong to God. They don't belong to me. God told me what to do, and I'm going to do them, not because, I just don't want to go to hell. I do these works for what reason? Keep my commandments. Okay? Again, if we go around and say, I love Jesus, I love Jesus, I love the Lord, I love the Father. Thank you, Jesus, I love you. But you don't do anything that He tells you to do? Are those words full or are they in vain? Absolutely. Absolutely. Write down Matthew 7 and 21 and follow Him. Start there and read there. And that's a good place to read. Because He's speaking to people that are not pagans and unbelievers. He's speaking to those who thought that they were doing right. Okay? And He said, I never knew you. Depart you that work iniquity. Okay? It's the word. Plain and simple. That's faith. That's what faith is. Any other comment? Okie dokie. Thank you so much for your time.